Welcome back, everyone, to another lesson. This is the next lesson in the TLDR of Life course, and today we're going to be taking the next step together. So let's recap so far what we've done. We've set our intentions for the course, we've written down all our activities that we do on a day to day basis in our life. We've organized them by life domains. We've rated those life domains. We've then attached life domains to those activities. And then we're starting to ask ourselves and go deep into one of those, the first of those life domains for whichever one you choose. And we ask the question of what do you believe about that life domain? And for me, it was about my career. So now we're at lesson 5. And so this lesson, we're going to be talking about the next question. We're going to be answering the next question in these series of life domain questions. And if you thought that the previous question was deep or drawn out, then I got some news for you. You're going to spend a lot of time, or at least I have been spending a lot of time going deep into these next series of questions, or the same question just applied across many different things. So if the first question was about my career, of what do I believe about my career, this question, the next question, is going to be why do I believe those things about my career? And so I'm going to share with you each of my beliefs about, why do I believe those things about my career? And so one of the reasons for doing this next question, from what do you believe to why do you believe it, is, sometimes it's you want to understand the reason why you believe something. So going a level deeper than beliefs to the identity, right? Maybe there have been experiences from your childhood, or with your parents, or with your friends, or other family members, or school teachers, or whoever in your life, right? Those fundamental experiences, whether your childhood or just yesterday, or maybe even if you believe in past lives, right? All those things are a part of your experience as a soul. And so those things all shape who you've become so far. And this moment, combined with everything else, will shape who you continue to become. And so this process for me is a conscious process of understanding the fundamentals when I ask this question of why do I believe these things. But then your subconscious also plays a big part. Obviously, I'm not a therapist, I'm no hypnotherapist, psychotherapist, or anything like that, right? I'm not officially, I don't have any title, anything like that. But I know enough to think about this sort of stuff. I know enough to know, and I know enough to what I don't know, right? But, long story short, there's a conscious piece and a subconscious and unconscious piece, right? And so each of those play a vital role in shaping those beliefs. And so there may be pieces when you start journaling, when you start writing these things out, where just follow your pen, just follow your fingers on the keyboard, however you want to express yourself, express these thoughts, emotions, feelings, intentions, ideas. Just let your fingers flow, just let the pen flow, let your pencil flow, whatever it is. And so just imagine this as your soul's way of expressing itself, right? And that's how I've been taking it. And I've gone very deep. And so this lesson is going to have many parts to it, because just like the last one, I'm going to be reading live each of the journal posts. So if you've been following on my blog, then this is basically a recap. This is just me reading those blog posts. But if you haven't been reading those blog posts, then this is a way to understand how I think, and specifically ask and answer the questions of what do I believe about the things that I've said previously within the life domain of my career. And so I will start this process now of going through my journal posts. So the first one that I had was in February 16th. Why do I believe that who I work with is one of the most important things? All right. Question 2 for my career life domain. Why do I believe those things? So there were a lot of things I wrote down, so got to keep track of them all. I'm just going to go down the list here. Meaning in career or impact. Who I work with is important, which is the one that we're answering here. Hiring someone who's okay with making mistakes. Making the mundane appealing. The supervisor-supervisee relationship. Having trust and autonomy. Hiring me should be the best decision ever. HR could be the most important function in a company. The employee seat fit. Hiring the alignment to the performance review. Within the toxic versus healthy work cultures, having a hierarchical or a flatter structure, or having someone be greater than, or someone seeing someone as equals, hence the X is greater than Y or X equals Y, that sense of equality and equity. Having the sense of no feedback, criticism versus having a safe space for feedback, right? Those contribute to a toxic versus healthy work culture. Beliefs about work over everything versus having a balance. No trust, ownership, or autonomy versus trust, ownership, and autonomy. Individual is greater than company success versus company success and individual success are equal, and you have an inclination towards a greater cause. Not okay with making mistakes versus embracing mistakes. Nice but not genuine versus genuine. Doing something that's never been done before. Trying out new ideas. Expression of the self. Monday should equal the same excitement level as a Friday. Work is life, and life is work. Attracting the right profession. A fork in the road in my career. Creating a job or industry myself. Having a multi-careered career. Viewing something at the clouds and the dirt level. Sacrificing my dreams for others. 9-to-5 job, no more. Small versus large companies. Parents seeking risk and failure versus me seeing potential opportunity, passion, purpose, and connectedness. And within that, small and large companies, my parents may be seeing comfort, success, pride, and prestige versus me seeing stagnation, confinement, boringness, and bureaucracy. I also have a belief of building a brand name versus just joining one. Having specialized conglomerates. Creating a system where understanding who we truly are is at the core of it. Not tied to a single location where we work. Living in tier 2, tier 3 cities. Being comfort and at ease versus being comfortable and things being easy. The expectations of results versus the expectancy of effort. Having the balance of remote versus in-person work. Customizable desks and workspaces. The belief that I'll never really retire. Growing exponentially, right? The expectancy as it relates to the finances, my personal finances, I should say, and no higher education, as in my beliefs about is undergrad the last level of formal education that I will have. All right, so this is the entire list. So I've got to go one by one here. Okay, so listing all these out, looks like some themes are naturally emerging. What I'll do is segment them out by question word. First set of topics can discuss who. So why do I believe that who I work with is one of the most important things? There is so much to learn in, from, and with people. The company that I surround myself with is everything. Whoa. When people use company in the context of your social circles, that's one thing. And those circles and groups that you hang with tell a lot about yourself. But here, the word company is also used in the context of a business or organization. Maybe they're one and the same. The company that we work at determines the company that we surround ourselves with. Like, we get to choose our friend groups when we choose to work at a company. We don't really do that with grade school. We have a bit more autonomy when choosing colleges, but sometimes it's limited geographically or financially. But when we choose our profession, we can be whatever we want to be. We have total independence. Over history, I think the variability and selection of career choices has only been increasing. So the more choices we have to do what we want with that. But the thing is, people have forgotten about the human connections in an organization and instead focused on how high within a company they can get or how much money they're making, instead of focusing their energy on how can I help someone else and how can I be the best version of myself. We've lost that bearing. I will invariably collect imprints from these colleagues and start thinking and acting like them, like anyone would with their friends. If I spend any substantial amount of time with them, then I'm going to pick up words, language, thoughts, feelings, and more from them. So who I spend 1/2 to 1/3 of my waking day with is crucial to how I independently live my life. So what experiences have led me to have this belief? The belief that who I work with will shape who I become. I think that social media and content that I consume has a decent part to do with it. That I see and hear people complaining about their coworkers and gossiping about them. But I'm thinking when they say that, 1, I want to share my compassion with you, and 2, how those people think is infiltrating how you think to a certain extent. Personally, when I started working and just being around high-achieving individuals at 2U Laundry, that just became and becomes the norm. And I was always high-achieving, at least through high school. But college, I could have gone out of my way more to be around more of those people. What about from childhood? I guess I never really saw or met my dad's coworkers because he'd mostly travel. But maybe they'd always be working after hours, becoming stressed and being content with life in middle management. Because that's what my dad showed signs of and had become. The thing is, when you're in it, it takes more energy to see from a different perspective. It just becomes habit to operate like your peers. In school, teachers will express how they feel to each other, to other teachers, and sometimes to other students. And it can be a mixed bag. I mean, I didn't make it easy on some teachers. But it's the same mindset that people in the same profession have a higher chance of sharing with each other. Diversity in who I work with in all forms will lead to diversity in everything else that I embody. The diversity and creativity of who I work with is the energy being shared from person to the next. But I think my beliefs on this one may stem a great deal more from my career and life after college compared to childhood experiences, just because I didn't have many of those. I've gotten to realize that this is what I believe through working and experiencing different people at different workplaces. In this regard, these are my childhood experiences, quote unquote, as it relates to my career, because I'm only 4 years old in that context. And everything in my childhood, whether absolute or relative, is more impressionable upon me. I'm going to read this one next. February 17th. Why do I believe that I want to work with and hire people who are okay with making mistakes? Why do I believe that I want to hire someone who is okay with making mistakes? I want to build a culture that values growth. And growth is achieving by taking steps backward and forward and by leaps at a time. I've become not only okay, but actually embrace making mistakes so that I can learn from them. If I know I'm intentionally making the mistake, then that's not good. But if I live up to my potential and along the way I fail, then that failure is one more way that I've learned something along the path. I just have to keep failing forward. There is value in culture add compared to culture fit. But I think there has to be some sort of values alignment. That if they have a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, then that's not someone I can grow with. Someone afraid of making mistakes may be too risk averse or may need micromanagement. There would be less autonomy if they had this fear because they don't want something bad to come to their name or their image. They may not want to step outside their comfort zone to try something new. But taking something new on, being flexible and adaptable to external circumstances, but not succumbing to them. Mistakes are a key way to ask better questions. They almost force more reflection. I think I have to take more effort to reflect when things are going well compared to when I've made a mistake. So if you make honest mistakes more often and fail more frequently, then you'll reflect with greater quantity and quality. And I value reflection a lot too. Being able to look back at what you did, said, thought individually and collectively with the team and company and then grow from it. If I'm around growth-minded people all the time, then that will become the default. I believe that I can learn just as much, if not more, from my supervisee as I can from my supervisor. I believe that because everyone has something to give and share, there is wisdom inside each of us. I think I also believe it because if I allow others to make mistakes, then they will also allow others to make mistakes, and me. And that can pervade from professional life to personal life too. I think I may believe that too, because I was given the opportunity to make mistakes. I would note it and learn from it as best as I could, hopefully to not make the same mistake again. That also means they accept themselves. That person will probably have a high level of self-esteem if they can make mistakes and grow from them. And I want my company to have high self-esteem. If they don't, it just feels like my own self-image and self-worth go down. I think I also may believe it because I've seen and experienced the opposite. Seeing the lack of full expression of self operating with an overabundance of caution inhibits us from fully growing. Second guessing every decision we're about to make at work is not something I want at all in my career. It stifles innovation, ingenuity, and inspiration. I think also failure is just misaligned intentions and results. I may have had one intention of reality, but the resulting perception may have been different. So then we try to reconcile the difference between why our intentions and outcomes didn't match up. I value the intention of somebody even more so than the result. So by hiring someone who is okay with failing, I'm validating their feelings and effort, that they are still accepted and celebrated, even if their intentions didn't result in exactly what they had expected. So I'm going to end there for now, but hopefully you all have started to understand the depth at which I'm going, right? You saw all the bullet points that I summarized from the previous 4 blog posts, journaling sessions, and condensed them down into bullet points, and then going to the next level of what those are all the bullet points of what do I believe, and then I'm taking each day to go deep, right? So you saw how many bullet points there were. It's going to be several weeks of just answering this single question, but applied to those many different contexts within the first life domain of a career. So I hope that you're understanding the depth and breadth of this as well, because this is not just a 1 week, 1 month, or even 1 quarter journey. This is a journey that may take quarters, years, and really probably your lifetime to fully understand. But I hope you're with me along the way and enjoying every second of it just as much as I am. And I will continue reading my blog posts in the next lesson, the same lesson, but just the next part. And I hope you're with me in that journey. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.